What's up, YouTube? It's the Incredible Joe and I'm back at it again with another video. Today I'm outside with my guy Eli. This is his 2018 Camaro Z01. Eli, so tell him a story about how you came about the Z01, going to different dealerships and things like that.
Well, this is the 5th Camaro I've had, and it's my dream car. But it all started with a dream, like any boy. I saw Transformers for the first time and the car came out, so it was an instant connection. Loving Transformers, the Camaro, Bumblebee. So I ended up getting my first Camaro back in 2013. It was a cherry red 1SS. I loved that car, but I kept it for about 1 month because I ended up getting a 2011 2SS charcoal gray. I love that car. It was great. It was phenomenal. I wasn't able to keep it due to unfortunate circumstances that happened around the 2014 time frame, but I did have a bounce back because 2 years after that I bought my 2013 I think it's called a Crush Orange or Inferno Orange convertible. It was 2SS. Wonderful ride. I loved it. Wife didn't really approve of it, so we ended up trading that one for a 2017 SS, and boy, that thing was incredible. I loved the way it sounded. It was smaller, sportier, and it definitely drove faster around the track. Now mind you, before that I tried about 3 or 4 times to buy a ZL1 and it never really panned out for me. It was always disappointment after disappointment. I had just given it up. So one day I just take my 2017 SS for an oil change, minding my own business. Got a little bit bored, decided to take a stroll, saw this beauty sitting out in the parking lot. And some guy just came up to me, told me about some specials. I told him, you know, a brand new car is not in the cards for me. He said, well, we got some good rebates. Why don't we take a look? We took a look, and here we are now.
I was just telling him a few minutes ago before I turned the camera on, I wish that same story would have happened for me, because if you watch my channel, you know that I was going to get the Hellcat when I got my Scat Pack, but I wasn't as fortunate. So here we are now. But one thing we were talking about earlier before we turned the camera on, if you watch my Camaro review of the 2019 SS that is on the channel now, the orange one, you know the front end is my favorite part of the car. Why? Because it looks so menacing and mean. And you were saying earlier, as far as the front end on this car, it's pretty much similar to the V6 as far as the vertical, daytime running lights and things like that. But once it gets up on you, you most definitely know. And I for one, besides the headlights, which I always speak of in every video, I love the splitter in the front because it looks like almost like a factory aftermarket add-on if you don't really know what you're looking at. So the front of the car is very menacing to me, and with this one, I was saying earlier, not earlier, but last time, my last Camaro review, I love the scoop on this car. I compared the the SS scoop on the orange one to the Z01 and then the Corvette, things like that. I think this looks better than like the Z06 and the Grand Sport because it's so big.
And definitely one thing that people do not know about the ZL1 is that it's an actual functional hood scoop, unlike most cars.
Right.
This car is created to have positive downforce at high speeds.
Right.
So another thing that people don't notice, it's got this empty right here. This right here is called the flow tie. It helps for better cooling and more downforce. And
that came with the 6th gen, right? They started that with the 6th generation.
They started that with the Z28.
Okay, okay.
That was the first car that they had that on.
Okay. What generation was this? What generation Z28? Was it?
I believe that was the 5th gen.
Facelift or just the like the first part of the 5th gen series?
Facelift.
Okay, okay. Well, I said this car looks very, very mean, and you said that this wing is actually larger than the SS wing. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So is it larger, like as far as like longer stretching across the trunk, or like it stands a little bit higher?
It's a little bit wider. So the SS's, it just happens to be a little bit shorter, and one of the things where you can really tell is right here on the sides. It's definitely beefier, where on the SS it seems to tip out a little bit more. Right,
right, okay. That's true, because on the SS it doesn't quite come out as far either, does it? Okay. Like I said, I didn't notice that. And of course the legendary Z01 badge makes this car what it is. This car comes with 305s on the back, and you said 285s in the front, right? And that's from the factory.
That's right.
So you have the side skirts here, and for those of you that know, I'm actually going to try to get 305s or 315s on my Scat Pack. So for those of you who actually know, drop a comment below and let me know if I go with 315s, whether I have to get a spacer or spacers for the back two tires. For those of you who have scat packs or you just know, drop a comment and let me know. But as far as the vents here in the front, but as far as these vents right here, so are these like going towards the brakes here, or?
Well, the Camaro Z01 happens to have 11 heat exchangers.
I know that.
That helps the car to stay cool. You can literally mash on it and drive it hard all day long, and she will keep putting out.
Right. Okay. Okay. And for those of you who are wondering about the camera channel, my camera just died, so I had to go back and get the GoPro. So, as far as the grill here, why is it so open the way it is here? Is it for like intake purposes, or is it just a new design? Well, because that I haven't ever answered on any review.
Well, it is open as much as it is because they want to maximize the amount of air that goes through the front. This car, like I said, they created it to optimize downforce at higher speeds. So this front isn't going to be like any other Camaro or SS. Other Camaros create negative downforce, where this creates positive. Okay. Okay. That I didn't know. I've seen it before. I've just never covered it on any type of review. So you have your 6-piston Brembo brakes, right? And actually, 6-piston in the front, 4-piston in the back. Okay. So if you were to get these from the, let's say if you were to go back and get these from the dealership, what would it run you as far as cost wise? Because I know some people actually do that. They go back and get the 6-piston brakes and things like that. Well, honestly, I couldn't tell you, but I imagine they'd run a pretty penny. Yeah, they are high, because I still don't do that on my car, but that's kind of steep. It is very steep. So as far as the outside goes, you've pretty much seen every other Camaro on the market as far as the 6th generation. So you pretty much know what the outside looks like, but where the car kind of stands out the most is the interior, because the Recaro seats, and you have a manual, right? And it's a 6-speed manual? 6-speed. Okay, so, and with this, was the 18, no, they made a manual 19. Yes. They made a manual 19. So what we're gonna do now is hop into the inside of the vehicle to show you what the Recaro seats look like and the manual gear shifter as well. When you get inside the car, of course, you have your ambient lighting, so that's pretty cool at nighttime. That's one thing I do like from like the Chevy Impala. I noticed it first in the Impala. I didn't notice it in here until I actually got in here. But the Recaro seats is the standing point for the interior of the Z01, like I was saying earlier. And of course, he has red seat belts, and that's a nice touch on the inside. So Eli, with the Recaro seats, explain to them how these seats work and how they perform under high speeds and things like that going around curves. Well, I can definitely say I enjoy these seats, that bucket seats from Recaro. Definitely when you're going around tight corners and you want to step it up a notch, these things are going to hold you nice and tight and make sure you don't go anywhere. Right. They definitely reinforce very well in these seats. They did a really good job with them. They look nice too, with like the red trimming here in the middle and the red stitching. That looks really nice to go with the inside of the car. They did a wonderful job too. They're heated and cooled seats. Okay. It's Alcantara up here. I've never noticed it. Alcantara right there, and Alcantara on the gear. No, that's pretty cool. So how does the car shift when you're going in as far as being a manual vehicle? How does it shift and things like that? Well, is it rough? Is it kind of like, you know, kind of tough to shift it and things like that? But certain cars is like clunk clunk clunk, and then you know, but in certain cars it's smooth. I definitely feel like it's nice and smooth. Right. There's not a whole lot of clunk to it. Quick shift thrower. It's great. Okay. I love it. Okay. And see, I've actually driven the Z01 manual before, but this is your car, so of course if you speak on it, it's a little bit more credible than what it was, because they never seen me drive one. So that's copyright. I like that song though. But so are these aftermarket? Yes, those I purchased them on Amazon. That's pretty cool touch. So you have a car charger back here for those of you who have not seen the inside of a Camaro Z01. And does this work for Android or is it just iPhone? It's supposed to work for the iPhone X or newer. Right. But it's proven to be a little bit useless. Okay. I've never been able to make it work on my phone. Never. I think that's one of the more poorly placed things in the car. Okay. But I really have no practical use for it. Okay. Well, so these are how you switch your modes right here. And you have 4 or 5 modes in the car? You have Tour, 4 modes. Tour, Comfort, Sport, and Track, and Snow? It is, let's see, it is Touring, Sport, track, ice, and snow.
Okay, there you go. And see, this looks different too on the Z01 from the SS, right? As far as the odometer, that's pretty cool. So as far as the infotainment system, that's exactly the same, I'm pretty sure, as the SS. These are the same in every Camaro, and these are actually the new Blazers, so go back and watch the Blazer review that I did, because I feel like the Blazer is pretty much just a Camaro crossover. I think so. I don't know if you've ever been inside the new one before.
The new Blazer, that I haven't yet.
It looks just like the Camaro, pretty much. So I think all of this right here is in the Blazer as well. But like I said, for those of you who have seen the other Camaro review or just been inside a Camaro, all this is the exact same. Where it gets, I guess, to be special with this car is the motor and the supercharger, right? That's so right. It's what size supercharger is this? It's isn't it, the Hellcat's 2.9. So I think this car was it 1.4 or something like that, 1.7.
Honestly, off the top of my head, I do not know. That's one thing I've never bothered looking into.
Either way, it has a supercharger in it, so that's what makes this car so special. And the sound as well. I didn't get the exhaust tone, but we'll get that later on. So we have the AUTODYNAMICS on the steering wheel, which I'm pretty sure is very, very comfortable. So when you're driving the car, does that cause your hands to sweat or anything, get really moist?
No, honestly, I feel like if your hands do tend to sweat a little bit, it actually helps a little bit better with the grip. Honestly, I like it anyway. Right. And also, on a really cold day, it's got the convenience of the heated steering wheel.
How long will it take to heat the steering wheel if you can?
Yeah, about 2 minutes. It's nice and warm.
Not long at all. Not long at all. So we're in sport right now. That's it. So everything is pretty much the same. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and hop into the drive part of the vehicle. I would put the camera on the outside, but my other camera just died. I didn't come prepared today. Go figure. So what we're going to do is try to get the best exhaust noise from the inside of the vehicle as possible. And like I say, kind of give you a feel for those of you who want to buy the Z01, or it's a dream car like it was for Mr. Eli. Just kind of give you a feel what it's like being inside the vehicle from the driver's and the passenger side as well. So stay tuned throughout the rest. So how's the clutch feel? Does the flywheel start to activate at the bottom or the top, or is it like in the middle?
I'd say once you release it about maybe 1/3 of the way, you can start feeling it really get to it.
Right. Okay.
At first it was a little bit different, because definitely from the SS to the Z01, it is a completely different feel.
Right. And you had a manual SS?
Yes.
Okay. So I drove the Chevy SS before, and it activated like at the very top, and that was pretty weak. I never driven a car that did that before, besides I think Porsche does that. So that's the question I had with this one. So when you're downshifting and all that kind of stuff in the car, because I know some people like to what's called toe tapping, I just call it downshifting. How does that work as far as rev matching and things like that? I know every car is different.
Well, it does come with the optional rev matching. I'm not a big fan of it. Everybody says that's kind of cheating for the newbies. Right. Me personally, I like to do what most people like, the double clutching. Right. And that just works out a little bit better.
Sheesh, man. Man, that car sounds good. And this is stock, the stock exhaust. This exhaust actually is the same setup as the 2019 SS, where I was telling you the actuators, if you cut them off, you said your engine light came on about 100 miles?
Yes, sir.
So it didn't come on immediately. Some people I've talked to said it came on immediately. Some people said it didn't come on at all, and it's been months and they got it done. So I think I'm at the point now to where it's kind of, I feel like we just, what you were saying earlier, kind of like cut the, depends on the emissions of where you are. If you have to have emissions, but you were saying just kind of cut it out and just replace the pipes where they are. So did you have to keep the actuators in there, like kind of plugged into the wires, or did you cut them?
No, actually there's a chip up in the front that you can remove, and it completely eliminates that. It leaves the butterfly valves open. Okay.
And then you got it reprogrammed. So did that void the warranty as far as reprogramming goes, or was it just?
No, because the chip, you could always put it back in.
Okay. Well, that might be the answer to my question then. But either way, like I said, the car sounds insanely nice just from stock. This car, the SS, does well. Of course, this car sounds better than the SS, but it's a different type of car. So the Z01 comes with 650 horse, 650 torque, right?
That is correct.
So how does that feel under your foot with this being a manual? Is it kind of like difficult? Was it difficult to drive at first?
No. That's kind of how that feels like.
Man. So from the passenger side of the car feels amazing. You have butterflies when you get into the accelerator. So as far, what is the quickest car you've driven?
The fastest car I've ever driven was a 2012 Nissan GTR.
Oh man, how'd that feel?
I can honestly say it felt like something was just punching you in your chest the second you took off. You had a big smile, and you just couldn't get that smile off your face.
Right. Was it a manual or was it automatic?
The GTRs, the new ones, they come automatic.
Okay. Well, so at what point did they stop making? Did they ever make a manual GTR?
They did.
They did. At what point did they stop making a manual GTR?
Honestly, I don't know when was the time, but most of these cars nowadays, the truly fast cars, they're all automatic for the most part. That's true. Actually, the automatic Camaro with the A10 transmission is actually faster than the manual.
Right.
Even though most of us that drive manuals don't like to admit that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's true. Just like what is it, the F8 or FZ8, something like ZF8, something like that, 8-speed in the Challenger. I say it's just really fast. But that same A10 is in the 2019 SS, right? So was it in the 2018 SS as well, or 2017? All the 16 SS, or was it just put into the 19?
I think the A10 was only put into the ZL1s. But don't quote me on that, I could be wrong.
Well, I know for sure it's in the 2019 SS. And it feels pretty good. But the A10 is actually in the Mustang GT, 2019 GT now. They have it in there as well. So I don't really know what the differential is, but I was watching some videos where that car is actually coming back and walking down scat packs and things like that, which for most people you're not really used to seeing that because it's the Mustang. So normally it goes Mustang, Camaro Challenger, or Challenger Camaro, it depends on the driver, and then the Mustangs normally at the bottom. Not being biased or talking about Mustang people, but that's typically how it goes. So with the new A10, it gave you guys a nice boost for all you Mustang people that have the 2019 Mustang. But as far as this car, have you raced anybody in this car?
I've gone up with a Hellcat before. Given, that didn't pan out too well for me, but it was just a fun little go-getter race just to see where it sat among its competition.
Right. So was it because of the manual? Oh, that's a new Blazer right there.
That is a new Blazer.
Yeah, it's just like a Camaro on the front, almost. But so was it because of the manual that it didn't go too well, or was it just like?
Well, by the looks of it, it really did look like he had an automatic, and like I said, these automatics are just fast nowadays. Right. It's really hard to beat them. And honestly, that's what a lot of these big car manufacturers, like say Porsche, Lambo, Ferrari, they use the the dual twin clutch transmission. Right. Those are just crazy fast. That's what the Nissan GTR has. Right. So when you're driving a manual, it kind of puts you in a hard spot as far as when you're going to race and things like that, because you're going against cars that are shifting so fast. So yeah, and nowadays, these cars, they got them to where they shift and they're right at the peak torque at all times, where these cars with the manuals, it's got to be at a certain spot for it to hit that peak torque. Right. So with this car, let's say does this car have a rev limiter in it? Because I know the SS is like 3,500, 4,000, something like that. Let's see. I don't think I've ever tested what the rev limiter is on this car before. Okay. I know my car is 3,500. The Mustang, I don't think has one. I don't think it does, because I have a friend with a Mustang and his car it just slaps to red line. So, but either way. Had it used for the Wi-Fi before, with me always hooking up my cell phone to the MyLink system. Right. Yeah, I got everything I need right then and there, and it automatically loads everything up. Okay. Okay. So I never used the Wi-Fi in my car either, nor have I used it in the SS. So, but as far as the seating position in the vehicle on the passenger side, I'm about 6'1", and you're about 6 foot.
right?
About 5'11".
5'11". So a couple inches, give or take. So when you're sitting inside the vehicle, for those who have not been inside the new Camaros or a Camaro at all, we all know that the back seats are pretty much non-existent. Well, it depends. Maybe if you have a smaller child, or if you have someone in a baby seat, it's maybe possible. But as far as being a full-grown adult, if you're back there, it's probably for farts and giggles, because it's not because you want to be back there. It's pretty much null and void. But as far as the front seat, you have plenty enough room to stretch your legs. You have enough room to ride comfortably if we were going on a road trip and things like that. Now I'm looking at Mr. Eli on his side. He has plenty of room, and it doesn't look like the pedals are too close to each other either. I know some cars, the clutch, the brake, and the gas like right on top of each other.
Now right here you got plenty of space.
Right.
You won't be making a mistake with that, with this car when it comes to that.
Right. So like I said, he has plenty of room over there. And one thing I want to touch on, because someone said this yesterday, in the Camaro you feel every bump in the road. Well, I can't really say I notice it, but maybe I don't pay attention to it, or I'm used to it. I don't really know that. I don't notice it. But if that is the case, you have to remember why you're buying the car. It's not because you don't buy this car with expectations of Rolls-Royce comfortability. You don't do that. So you have to kind of expect it. But if you put it in tour mode, it kind of lightens up the suspension, and then sport tightens it up, and then track is even just the tightest because it's for the track. So if you're riding around in sport mode and track mode, you're going to feel different things in the road, because that's what the car's supposed to do. Everything's supposed to tighten up on the car. So I'm just saying that because, like I said yesterday, someone was driving the SS, and the man in that SS, do you feel every bump in the road? I know. Do you feel it, or do you just not pay attention to it?
Honestly, I think that's one of those things that when you buy these cars, you just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I don't think that's something I think about when I'm driving this car. So I just wanted to touch on that for those of you who are wanting to get an SS or get a Z01 or a Camaro or Mustang or Challenger period, and someone has told you that before. It doesn't really, you have to remember why you're buying the car. I don't really think that matters to anybody that's buying this car. But as far as when you get to the 6th gear in this car, does it, you know, in the Corvette, when it gets about 5th gear, it kind of like just starts to fall in its face when it's racing other cars. And then, does this car continue to climb, or is it like well, this being a manual, you kind of control all of that?
Yes. As far as going into 6th gear, I can't say I've ever gone fast enough to be able to tell if it keeps on climbing in 6th gear.
Okay.
But maybe one day I'll be able to find out.
So there you go. But as far as, like I said, why you're going to have the car, quarter mile time, 1/8 mile time, half mile, whatever, like I said, I feel like this car performs very well. 0 to 60, 3.4 seconds, 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5, quarter mile, and 11.5 at about 125 miles an hour.
Sheesh, that's pretty quick. That's for a stock car. But these days, that's crazy, because this stock car is doing 10.9 now. You know, so I guess it's a normal thing. So, and every year you're getting quicker. Like Ferrari has all electric vehicle coming out that's like 1,800 horsepower, 1,500 torque.
Jeez.
That's gonna break somebody's neck. 0 to 60, 1.8 seconds. That's ridiculous. So it's beginning to be a norm now. So, like I said, to conclude this video, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to give this car a grade, it'd be a 10. I give it a 10. It's a perfect car. Like I said, I have a sweet spot for Camaros. If you all have watched every video, you would know that. I have a Challenger Scat Pack, but I love the Camaro. You own the car, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the car? In your most non-biased opinion.
Yeah, man, it's hard not to be biased with this car, but honestly, it's a 10.
It's a 10. You can't go wrong with this. So, and they're priced pretty well. You can get a Z01 right now, even if it were a 16, you could get it for what, 50, 48?
You could get a used one, 17 for around 52, 54,000. I got this one brand new, out the door, 64,000. That's
not bad at all for the performance. You're 11.5 quarter mile, 3.5, 0 to 60 at, what'd you say again? 60? Was it? You said 60,000?
64,000.
64,000. So there you go. You're not. That's to me. Well, that's crazy because 3-4 years ago, that's about $100,000 price tag.
Definitely for the performance, it's a bargain.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice price tag for a car that you're going to get this performance out of. So to conclude this video, like, subscribe, comment, and share the notification bell so you can get every video first. You can like first and comment first. It's Incredible Joe. Mr. Eli, I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.